Okay, so we have our next piece by Emily Kame Inware. It's number 234 and it's called Earth's Creation. And it is from 1994. It is a synthetic polymer paint on canvas. And if you notice from the photo at the bottom, it's very large. It's 20 feet wide and 9 feet high. So Emily Kame Inware is an Australian Aboriginal artist, meaning she's of the native people of Australia. And she's considered one of Australia's most significant contemporary artists. She was born at the beginning of the 20th century, but grew up in a remote desert area known as Utopia, about 230 kilometers northeast of Alice Springs, so distant from the art world that would seek her work later. Her remarkable work was inspired by her cultural life as an Anmatyer elder, that's spelled Anmatyerre, and her lifelong custodianship of the women's dreaming sites in her clan country, Alhalkare, which is Alhalkere, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It was in Alhalkere that the essence of her being resided. It was her dreaming that was the source of creative power and of her knowledge. Alhalkere is the source of her paintings. Inware's paintings are a response to the land and the spiritual forces which imbue it. The contours and formations of the landscape, the climatic changes, the parched earth and then flooding rains, and the shapes and patterns of seeds and plants are all part of her inspiration. The enactment of these strong cultural connections to her community and country through kinship ties, ancestral history, and law was an everyday practice that informed her art, making her life and art inseparable. In 1977, Inware and some other women from Utopia attended a bush workshop to learn about batik. It's spelled Batik. This was her first experience with non-indigenous materials and techniques. The following year, the women formed the Utopia Women's Batik Group, which became known for beautiful, fluid designs on silk. It was with this group that Inware made her first trip to Adelaide, Australia in 1981, accompanying the exhibition of Floating Forests of Silk. In 1988, Inware had her first experience of painting in acrylics on canvas, and she quickly adapted the techniques and iconography of batik to this new and more direct creative process, and then painted for the next 8 years until she died in 1996. During those 8 years, it's estimated that she produced over 3,000 paintings in the course of her career, which averages to about one painting per day. While it may resemble a modern Western art, she knows nothing outside of her small territory in Australia, and that's what makes this unique. The works were painted flat on the ground, not on an easel. There is no prescribed top or bottom except in just a few cases of some of her works. The artist indicates that her works could be hung or reproduced horizontally or vertically or in various combinations. The technique she uses is called dump dot technique, and she pounds colors into the canvas to create layers of color and movement. Her use of dots reaches a crescendo in this phase, with dots merging, separating, and dominating in various configurations. They fuse together to create planes of color structured into mobile shapes or are choreographed to form lines that suggest dance movements. These works reference the changing atmospheric character of the seasonal cycles. That's what she's trying to capture in Earth's creation. It documents the lushness, here's the function, it documents the lushness of the quote-unquote green time that follows periods of heavy rain and makes use of tropical blues, yellows, and greens. Earth's creation was created as part of a larger Hall Carey suite, which contains 22 panels and is still considered one of the most virtuosic of Inmari's immense and prolific artistic output. In the last 2 weeks of her life, Inmari completed a suite of 24 small paintings. These were characterized by extremely broad, milky strokes of jewel-tone hues of blue and rose to communicate the artist's long-standing fascination with color and her sophisticated grasp of abstract composition. So this one was actually bought by a restaurant in Australia and is hung inside a restaurant. And she is considered a very like a national treasure to the Australian people.